Hello, everybody. Tech Talk Live today. Our special guest is Barbara Abeyta. So, hi, Barbara. So, those of you saw just maybe, I think it was a couple weeks ago, we were doing a workshop called Get Branded, Get Used, and Barbara was in my workshop. And we started what we call the Tech Talk Who's Who. And so, those of you might have seen a little smidgen of Barbara, about a 10-minute little interview. And that stemmed on to where I wanted to know more about her and share more with you because there's things about Barbara. She's a hidden gem in our nail industry, and I'm excited to share you again with the world. And so, Barbara, thanks for joining in today.
Thank you so much it's an honor to be on here. Thank you so much.
Yay. So, Barbara, you know how Tech Talks start is that we want to know more about you. And so, do you want to go back and kind of tell us how you got started in the beauty industry?
Yeah, sure. So, we're going way back 27 years ago. I, I used to bite my nails really, really bad. And my husband, my boyfriend at the time, my husband, asked me to marry him. And he put a ring on my finger, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my nails are terrible. So I decided I was going to grow my nails out, and it took about 6 months to get just a little bit of growth. I went into a nail salon and asked them to put nails on me, and they cut off all my nails and put on tips. I literally cried because it took, as a nail biter, 6 months of growing your nails out is a huge deal. And they just like cut it all off, and they were thick, they were square, they were just flat and ugly. And I was just like, no way. So I decided I was going to teach myself how to do nails. So I literally went to the library. Like back then we didn't have Google.
That's so true.
I actually had to go to the library, and I found a book on how to do nails. And I literally taught myself how to do nails. And then fast forward in 2004, I decided to become licensed because I was already doing my nails and my sister-in-law nails and my grandma's nails. Like I was already doing that. So I'm like, I might as well, maybe get paid for this instead of getting food. Just maybe get paid. So I enrolled, my sister-in-law, she actually encouraged me to roll into a nail-only school. And I enrolled that day. I said I would be part-time, and end up after the first week absolutely loving it. Graduated the following February. I started in November, graduated the following February. And it's been nonstop ever since. Like, I absolutely fell in love with the industry. I fell in love with what it's about. I fell in love with making a difference in people's lives, even though it's like one finger at a time. Like it really, really makes a huge difference in their lives. And so I got addicted to that, and it just grew and grew and grew. And here I am now, 27 years later, still loving what I do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so did you ever do anything else for work, or have you only done nails for work?
Oh no, I've done so much. I was an insurance agent for 15 years. Sold policies. I've written all types of policies as insurance agents. I opened several insurance agencies and got them up and going. I worked at Walmart. I drove a school bus. I did a school crossing guard. I worked at Bed Bath & Beyond and stocking towels. So, I mean, I've done a lot of different jobs. My husband used to call it a 2-year itch, that I had to change jobs every 2 years because I was bored. And he thought for sure once I started nails that 2 years and I would be like done. And here I am 14 years later, like still going strong.
Yeah. Do you ever find though that it's because of the trends change or product changes that it keeps us passionate as maybe the other jobs that you had? It just seemed a little bit more repetitious, I guess.
Yes, it was the same thing over and over and over again. And I love education, and I love our industry because it's constantly changing, and I'm constantly Googling and looking to see like what's going to be the new trend coming up. What can I start? Since I'm in Colorado Springs, we're always about 2 years behind on trends. So I try to stay ahead of that before it, like bring it before the 2 years, and my customers love that. They love the fact that I'm like attempting new things and want to bring new things, and that they have other things that nobody has, so yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting. So I think, yeah, you guys have all heard my story where I've been in the industry as well for many, many years. And so I never looked at it as a real job. So
Mhm.
I always had this underlying, and I was, 18 years old when I got into the industry. I will not tell my age now. You guys don't want to know that, but my wrinkles will tell you how old I am. But with that, it's kind of funny because I always looked at the nails like, oh, it's just the same thing. You're doing the same thing over and over. But what I found is the other jobs that I did was more the same thing in repetition. And this was creative freedom outlet for me. And so I never felt like, even though I was doing somewhat the same thing, when I got to after you like buffed the nail and you got to the art part, that was where my passion was. Like I could get through the monotonous, repetition thing because I had that coming to look forward to.
Yeah.
And conversation was, different and stuff too. So I think it keeps us passionate. And you're right about education.
Oh, it's key. It's key.
Absolutely.
Always growing. Like,
Yeah,
it's so.
absolutely. I have to say, Rosella's on here and she says, hello, ladies from Ireland. And of course, we have a lot of hellos and good mornings and stuff. So thank you guys for coming on and joining us on Tech Talk. So those of you who have not met Barbara, she actually has another side in the nail industry that she's tapped into that is amazing. And, I didn't hear about it until this last year. And I realized you've actually been slowly working on this for many years. And so, let's talk about how you kind of went to the next level in the nail industry. When did you start the coaching?
I started the coaching about 10 years ago, and it started with coaching, volunteer coaching. I've been in the personal development industry for over 10 years, and I did a lot of volunteer coaching for Size Seminars. Size Seminars is the longest running personal development company in the world. They're worldwide. And so I got involved with them and just really loved helping people to see themselves bigger than they see themselves. Like I see people so much bigger than they see themselves. And I really wanted to be that mirror to show them like, oh my gosh, you are capable of doing so much. And while I was doing that, I was also teaching for C&D, and I would go out and I would teach these classes, and I would hear the things that they were saying, and I was kind of correlating to the people that I was volunteer coaching. I'm like, oh my gosh, our industry so needs this. Not that we're a broken industry. We're not. Right. Nobody's broken. But I just want people to see how amazing and how great they are. And if they just tap into that, like their business can fly. And that's what I started test driving. I started test driving my volunteer coaching, and I brought it to the table. Mm-hmm. And I didn't tell my clients I was coaching them. I didn't come right out and say, I'm coaching you now. Like I just listened and I participated, and I gave them feedback when they were open to it. And next thing you know, one thing led to another, and people loved sitting in my chair, not because they were getting their nails done, but because they needed to feel fantastic. They needed to feel, and they wanted not someone to tell them, because I don't do that, but to kind of bring it out of them. Mm-hmm. And so that's when I decided, you know what? I want to bring this to the nail world. I want to bring this to the nail industry. I want to go out and touch all those nail pros out there that think they don't do art, that think that they cannot charge for art, or think that I'm giving myself cold chills, like think that they're not good enough to get what they should be paid for. And it's just, I was there. I get it. I know exactly what you're going through. And I had to work through that as well. And I know I can make a difference and help them to get them out of their way so they can actually get paid and do what they love to do.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so you offer retreats.
Yes, I have a Nail Pro retreat. It started off as a 2-day retreat. I've done 2 so far. I did a test run, my very first one in Colorado Springs. I had 10 people. it was a huge success. Like it totally blew my mind. I mean, I knew what I was doing, but I didn't know what I was doing. It's like one of those things. And so it was a wonderful start. And so I knew what I needed to change and what worked and what didn't work. And so then I decided to do another one. I did that in Aurora. And that I only had 4 people. And that class was absolutely amazing as well. I mean, they got so much done, and it's just really inspiring to see people grow right in front of you. Like, and all I'm doing is helping them bring that out. So I'm doing a third one in Vegas, and this was a challenge based off Tiffany Cordoza, off of her page, her nail tribe page. She asked, what are your goals? She posted something like, what are your goals? So I'm very goal oriented. I have goals going on all the time. So I put on there, like, I want to have another nail pro retreat, and I want to grow my nail pro retreat, that I'm doing them constantly all over the country. And she's like, well, so then Sheila, and I don't remember her last name, she came on and said, well, why don't you do it in Vegas? Because the Best Little Nail Show, backed out in Vegas, and there's a bunch of people that have, unrefundable airline tickets that, might be able to go. And I'm like, is that a challenge? Are you challenging me right now? And they're like, yeah. So now I'm doing one in Vegas, November 3rd through the 5th. We already have a venue. We have 3 people signed up. The more the merrier. Well, actually, no, not the more the merrier. I'm maxing it at 20. 20, I think, is a little too much. I like to keep the classes small so we can get a lot of work done and people feel safe.
Yes, absolutely. I know Becky, I think she's on here,
Yeah.
is going to that as well. And she's talked about it. And yeah, that's pretty exciting. I love how I know that sometimes it takes us to have these challenges. And I think you and I've talked plenty of times, we're not really competitive. We're not competitive to the point of like, I have to be the best one out there and I have to be the biggest and stuff like that. We're competitive in knowing that we could do better than what we've done before. Yeah. We're competitive when we can see something in somebody else that they don't have it and we want to challenge them a little bit. So I like that we're still being challenged into that, and not for competition to have another retreat or another thing. It's just because it's still needed.
Right.
There's so many things out there. I always look at like the fast foods and they're like, oh, there's already a burger joint. We don't need to build one. But maybe your burger's a little bit different. Or maybe your customer service is what brings those people in, because no matter what, they buy into you. And so it's so important for that. When it comes to like what you're talking about, a lot of people ask me, Amy, how do you find the confidence that you do in the industry? And confidence is huge. And I always tell them, this did not come from within. It did not. It took from years and years of doing the wrong thing and listening to my client, asking them, what do you think? How should I fix this? Asking other people, how do I fix this? And then finally doing it right to where it lasted, that the client still chose to come back. And then you have to stop and go, oh, wait, they're still coming to me. I did it right this time. It lasted. And then your confidence starts coming from that. So for me, majority of my big confidence came from mistakes and my mindset of saying, I know that I could do that better. So not competitive against somebody else or I rocked it. It really is the mindset of like challenging yourself. Like, if I changed this, I think I could do that. And then when it works, opening your mind to say, I did it. And that's okay. Pat yourself on the back and say, I did that. And that's where the confidence comes from. And then it takes many of those trial and errors. So what do you think that you could tie into to help people build their confidence in the industry?
Well, the one thing is confidence is something that when you learn from outside sources. You get feedback constantly. And feedback is just feedback. Like sometimes it's negative feedback, sometimes it's positive feedback. I don't see feedback as a negative because I can always learn something. I think one of the major keys is confidence is not taking things personally. Like, don't take things so personally that it's you. Like, sometimes it's not you. Sometimes it's because it's shitty outside. You just don't know. Like, it's not always about you. So not taking it personally. And also is, watch the stories that you tell yourself. Like, if something does go bad, what are you saying? Oh, am I I'm terrible, or I'm a horrible artist, or they don't like me, or it's just that internal dialogue. If you can be aware of that internal dialogue, that right there will support your confidence in growing significantly. And that's what my mindset retreat is all about, is getting aware of the stories that you're telling yourself. And I use stories because and sometimes it's not stories, it's just, it could be lies, but sometimes the stories could be a positive story, sometimes it could be a negative, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. You just be aware of the ones that are not working, so you can actually change it into a positive, and you can build that confidence from there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love it. I will not be able to attend the retreat this year. However, I do, like whenever you have your next one, I'll be there, absolutely. And so I love how you do that. So so Shane is on here and she lives in Colorado as well. And so she wants to know where you're located. And is this a retreat that you're going to offer more in Colorado? And then if so, how do people sign up? What's your website and all of that?
So my website right away is barbabeta.com, and not barbabeta.com. I apologize. It's Barbara Abeyta, because Barb Abeyta was taken. I had to use barbaraabeyta.com, and I have my Nail Pro retreats on there. I'm slow. It's just me and one other person working on my website, and it's so slow. It's like, that's like an ever-ending job in itself. I'm in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I've already been asked to do one in Estes Park, Colorado. And so if that's going to happen, that has to happen like in summer, because nobody will be able to get up there during the, fall or winter, because the snow is just outrageous up
That's
there.
Another kind of retreat.
Right. And I don't like that extreme cold. Like I'm I don't like extreme hot and I don't like extreme cold. So that's where you're going to find me when it's pretty moderate. So if that's going to happen, it's going to happen more in the summertime, like July, June of next year, when I make that happen. But I've been asked for that. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Barbara, it's because it's needed. It's needed in every single industry, not just in the nail industry, but it's needed everywhere. I used to be the president of a chamber of commerce. And one of the greatest things that happened out of that term is that they sent me to the leadership program. And oh my gosh, I left there and I wanted to be the rep for every company that was all positive and energetic, and I fit in. Like, finally there was like-minded people like me that could see the positivity in it, and like, we can turn this around. It's a mindset, and so I can feel your passion when it comes to that, because I can relate. I love that part of building each other up. Even Anita says that she actually gets confidence from helping others. It's like, I call it sharing that nerdy nail knowledge, sharing that with others and letting them kind of, just one little spark might have an idea for them, to where they go on and they're like, that made sense to me.
It's so empowering. I just get so excited about that when I can see just a light flicker in their eye, or they get a smile, like, oh my gosh, I get it. Like, that gets me so stoked. I get so excited. And like, I'm really nervous when I start my retreats. It's like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to do what? And I'm like, okay, stop it. Just stop it. Just go in and be you and just deliver the content. In my Nail Pro retreat, we do a lot of exercises. There's a lot of hands-on exercises. And it's not me up there regurgitating a bunch of positive affirmation type stuff. Like, it's not about me at all. I'm just kind of the facilitator guiding the retreat. They're doing all the work, and they're learning their ahas, and they're becoming aware of what works for them, and I'm just supporting them and bringing it out, and that I get so addicted to. I love it.
Yeah. So when we go to a retreat, is it 1 day? Is it 2 days? What's the setup that you have?
3 days now. It's 3 full days now. It started off as 2, now it's 3 full days. I found 2 days, even with 4 people, was not enough time. Like, people did not want to leave. They wanted to talk more. Like, they really wanted that. People really want to feel acknowledged, and they want to feel part of something. And sometimes they don't even know what that is. But when they feel this, then they're like literally they're addicted to it. And I know because I did it. Like I love it. I love every part of it. So it's 3 full days. The first day seems like a lot of lecture, but it kind of sets the foundation. Like the first part of the class is like the foundational piece of where I'm coming from and what we're going to be working on. And then we dive into a lot of exercises, a lot of hands-on, a lot of discussion, not me discussing. I actually have the class discuss different perspectives, different views. It's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just this is where people are at. And so this is how people grow when you can learn different perspectives.
Absolutely. Man, you have hearts flying up all over the screen. They're relating to what you're saying. And it's so, so, so true. And you know what, when we learn from each other's stories and we can openly talk about it in a comfort level where everybody's in the same industry. And so we understand when we say it's very frustrating when a client doesn't call and they have to, they don't show up, and you've connected with that client. And so then we're worried, or we're like, are they okay? And then sometimes we get angry because we're like we think about them. How come they didn't, think about us in return just to tell us they can't come? And then, all these thoughts go through your head. Aren't we self-destructive sometimes?
Those stories.
And all that happened is the client was late. Like that 15 minutes until they get here, all these things go through our head. And and here they show up late and they're like, I'm really sorry, this happened or whatever. And this whole time we were self-destructive in that little tiny bit.
Yep.
So let's see. Jane wants to know, do we actually stay there like on the site, or do they have to get separate motel rooms or whatnot?
So the one in Vegas right now, the venue is actually next to a salon. So there is no like on-site bedrooms or anything like that. In the future, I actually want to do that. So this one, we're going to do at this venue, and then there's a hotel. I want everybody to stay at the hotel. That's what I'm kind of hoping for. So we can have little after session talks, because I know based on my experience, they need that. They really need to kind of like decompress maybe, or kind of work through things that weren't quite. And so it gives them a little time, one, to connect in a different setting. But then you develop sisterhood. You develop more of, I got your back. Like, I'm here for you. And I'm not just going to be here teaching this class and see ya. I really want to be available to people and to help them go through whatever they're going through in their businesses and their life. Because at the end of the day, they're one and the same. Like, wherever you go, there you are. So,
yeah. Oh, that's so exciting. Do you ever travel around and just do motivational speakings at some of the nail shows?
I have not. I'm not one. I kind of have a little stage fright. I love smaller classes. I love connecting with people. Even this is a little hard for me, but even though I'm connecting with you, I can connect with you. But if it's a big group, I'd be like, oh my gosh.
It's always, what I find is, because I get nervous before every single tech talk, and I've done, so many of these. And then I've done some public speaking, but I've always done it on women's health. And I've done it for like positivity, but I'm actually going to do my first, I'm going to be a speaker at the nail camp next year outside of Atlanta. And I am so nervous for that, because before it's always just been positive and stuff. And now I feel like, oh my God, I have to come up with a topic. I have to stay on task. I'm a squirrel person. So it's like something in the room might happen and I'll get sidetracked. But you know what, with what you're doing, that helps keep us focused, and it helps us know that that's real. Everybody feels that way before anything that they're going to do that's new. And even if you've done it over and over, it's still nerving, and that's natural, and that's good.
And I had to pee like 3 times.
And then what you do though is you help give that confidence to say, you know what, once you get there and once you're on that stage, or once you're, face to face or something like that, just trust, is going to be there, and that everything else just comes through, and that everybody else, they're going to relate to what you're saying and listen to what you're saying rather than understanding your nervousness. And I'm one that I get flush and I get all red and my nose turns red, and I'm like, there's not enough makeup to cover that.
Yeah. Me too. too. Like I'm holding my hand so I don't touch my neck so it doesn't turn beet red.
But you know what? That's one of those things, like what we were talking about, is that afterwards, after you have a session and then people are like, oh my gosh, I was so nervous and I got in there and I saw this and that. And the other people go like, me too. I do the same thing. It's like, well, what do you do for yours? Like, oh, I use ice packs before I do something, or, there's like something that they do. And, so just know that it's real and it happens to all of us. And if we can overcome all those little insecurities of that kind of stuff, and we can continue to talk, our voice will outshine any of our red rashes.
And I know that. And, I've been practicing my public speaking, and it's definitely been a fear of mine ever since I was little. And I've gotten better and gotten better with it. I know that if ever the opportunity came about, I would so jump into it, because that's just the type of personality that I have. Like, I never, ever, ever turn away from growth. Never, because I can learn something. Even if I fall flat on my face, I can learn something, and that's growing. And so I'm all about that. So.
Oh, so true. So true. So I had stalked your page a while back, and one of the videos that I came across was your 3-foot rule. And I still think that it's, such a great rule. And of course, you and I've talked, like, we realize it's not just with business cards. So let's explain what the 3-foot rule is, and then we'll continue to go from there. Yeah.
So the 3-foot rule, I don't know how I came about it. One day I was it was several years ago. I went to a networking event because I was promoting my nail business. And, there's all kinds of different businesses there, and people were coming up and they like literally were passing you business cards, and like they weren't introducing themselves. I didn't know who they were, what they offered, where they were located, what they could provide for me. Like, I didn't know nothing. They were just handing me these cards. And I was just like, I don't want to hand out just cards. Like, I want to actually connect with people, and I want to know like who they are and what they're about and what they can provide for me. So I came up with this 3-foot rule that for myself, that I would never, ever, ever just pass out a business card just to pass out a business card, because I want people to know who I am, what I can provide for them, and where I'm located. And I always write something on my business card. So if someone asks for my business card, I'll like, oh my gosh, so thank you. And I would write something on there, like, I don't know, just something. Sometimes it would be like, 10% off, a service, or free nail art, or, thank you for talking with me. Thank you for having coffee. Like, subconsciously, when you write on a business card, that business card becomes that becomes very important. It's not just a piece of paper anymore, because they took the time to write on it. So I don't hand out business cards anymore, but anybody that's within 3 feet of me, I will introduce myself, and I will let them know who I am, what I can offer, and where I'm located. And a majority of the time they want a business card. So then I'm writing something on it and handing it to them. So that's the 3-foot rule. It's just connecting with people, and don't just hand out business cards just to hand out business cards. Make sure you make it special.
Yes.
And I'll tell you the story of how that worked, and why. Another reason why that came back is a long time ago, I sold Party Light. Party Light is, candles and accessories. And I did that for 6 years. And so when I was starting my nail business, I was letting my customers know, like, I'm no longer going to be doing this, and I'm going to be doing nails. And so I passed out a business card. It was a Party Light business card to a lady, because she wanted to know, when you start your nail business, I want to get a hold of you. And I said, well, I don't have my nail business card yet. I'm still in school, but here's my Party Light card. Here's my cell number. And I wrote on there, please give me a call when you're ready for nails. I'd love to spoil you, or something like that, to an effect. And then I fast forward like a year, and she came in, she still had that business card with my handwriting on it. And she says, I kept this all this time, and I finally needed it because I'm going to a wedding, and I remembered that you were starting your business card, and so I called you. And it's like, she had that business card for a year. It wasn't just a random piece of paper. It was special because I took the time to write on it. So yeah, there's my 3-foot rule.
I love it. And so when we were doing the get branded, get used,
Yeah,
I got to use that, your rule back on you.
you did.
And so we were talking about our social media. And so with social media, you can't just hand somebody a business card, and you have to find a way to get used by them by using your social media through getting branded, getting advertising, getting, your best portfolio out there. And we were talking about the 3-foot rule, and your cell phone is in your 3-foot rule. All the people that you connect with through social media is the
Yeah,
same thing if you walked into a coffee shop and you're going to introduce yourself to somebody. And so you have to use those same guidelines on
yeah.
your social media as well. And so I loved that I was able to I listened to what you said and I took that to heart because I believe in the same thing. And I just love that we have a bigger spectrum of that. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, that was like a so aha moment. Like I grew like 10 foot at that time. Like it was like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown right now.
I love it. It's because what you have to say is really good, and you have the words right here, solid foundation of what you're trying to create. And I believe in what you're doing. And so when you talk, I'm really listening because I can relate to it. And I too, every time I talk to you, get a little bit of that aha moment and I feel so good. I'm like, wait a minute, it stems off this whole marketing thing for me. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I loved it. You taught me so much. I love that workshop. It really got me out of that social, because I didn't know how to cross over because I wasn't promoting nails. Like I'm a regular salon nail tech. Like I work in a salon and I have customers. I don't win competitions. I have never been published, but I know that I have a passion that I want to share, and I didn't know how to cross that bridge to make that connection. And you really, really supported me in doing that. Like you blew my mind every single time you sent me a message. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. I could do this and I could do that. And yeah, so that workshop is amazing. Everybody needs to take it and do the work. Like seriously, do the work. You'll be blown away by it.
And then you just said something that you can't say anymore. You just got published.
I did.
I know.
Yeah, I did.
So,
I was like blown away. Like I was really nervous when I sent it. Like, are they gonna really connect with it? Like, of course, the inside, dialogue, those stories, like they're not gonna get it. Like they're not. It's not really nail related. They're not. And when I got that email, oh my gosh, I was jumping around the house and I was so excited. I'm working on my next piece to send to them. And so Lori is wonderful. She was like, I want you to write more. Please give me more. And I'm like, okay.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. And so, like what you said, that mindset of we get nervous and we're like, I don't know if they're going to like this. I don't know if they do it. But they did. The confidence that you got back into that of oh my gosh, and now you're ready to do it again and you can't wait. Now your mind's stuck on that. And so you don't know till you try.
exactly.
And those challenges that I challenge you guys, submit these things in. We just ended our one nail, one canvas. And do you know that almost every single person that entered it had never painted on a canvas before? And they're like, I did this because of you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Sometimes I don't realize, I'm just talking. I can talk nonstop. And so when people are listening and they look at it as a challenge, they're like, well, Amy said, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But the feedback that I get back from that, I want to always talk. Always, always. I never want to stop talking if it's going to continue to be like this. And I was so excited when you messaged me. I was too, jumping around, got a little emotional and stuff. But I was like, she did it. She did it. And you know what you wrote about was about you. I mean, what you wrote about was the confidence. You weren't just like, okay, this is how you do nails. You really did write with passion. And so I can see why Lori chose to publish you. And I'm excited for what's to come for you. That's super exciting. So you can never say that you've never been published.
I'm published now.
Oh, that's so, so exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I know I'm missing so many. There's a lot of comments on here. So I know that when we watch you guys on replay and when Barbara's able to see the comments on the replay, then she'll be able to answer some of the questions as well. So if I missed anything, I'm sorry, but you're getting a lot of, like, Becky is like, woo, congratulations. And Gail's on there, great idea, Barbara, and stuff like that. So it's exciting. Gail says, I was jumping when Amy announced my name on the genre ad competition. So Gail, actually, we put out there a little challenge in our genre group. And Gail put together a video, and boy, it kind of just kept going on and on. And all these people were like, I love your vision. I love what you're doing. What can I do to help? And it became like this big own like entity of itself. So we turned it into a challenge, and she just won. And it's like the same thing. When people believe in you, and they, like what you said in the very beginning of this, sometimes what you see in other people, they don't see themselves. I do the same thing. I can see their pictures, I see their posts, and I'm one of those honest ones. I don't want them to think in a bad way, but like I messaged a girl, all of her pictures have the arms, all the way the arms and the nails, and it's pictures of the nails, and they're always, let's see if I, they're always like this. And I was
Yeah.
like, have you ever thought about like getting on Pinterest and looking at different poses? You don't always have to do like mine's a go-to, sorry,
Right.
like this, or the Pinteresty kind of post. But have you ever thought about doing something that when you cropped it in, you could see that? Because I really think that the nail art that you do is phenomenal. And I would like to see more of the artwork. And I think not only with me with that, but I think it would be more pleasing on your Facebook page. And I'm a person that really believes that you never know who's watching you. I've been published in so many blogs and stuff like that. It's not like I submitted in, the picture caught their eye, but the picture has to be ready for the publication. This is not a skincare ad. Okay.
Right.
This is a fingernail ad. And so I told her that. She messaged me it was about 2 weeks ago. I think I did this a couple months ago. And she goes, I just got published. I go, are you serious? And she said, it's because I changed what you told me. I did not realize that I had more of an arm and a wrist and a hand in there than I did nails. And she goes, I got published, and I just want to say thank you for reaching out to me. Nobody has ever told me that. And I was really nervous because I thought, her nails were fabulous. And so, we never know that line to cross. But when you can build a trust up with people around you, when you are allowed to like come out and help somebody in a true positive, way, they don't see it as an insult. They see it as a blessing. And so I've been thankful that in this industry, when I come out kind of what I call it red pinning at something, that they see it as a blessing more than like an insult. So
Well,
yeah.
I mean, all I can say is that you might be ready, but you show your heart the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
I can feel your heart and I see your heart, and so I know that it comes from a good place, and I think others will also.
Yeah.
Because it's not coming from a malicious place. It's not coming from an addictive place. It's coming from a place that you truly, truly care. And that's where I'm about too. It's like I truly care about people in general, and I just want the best for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so true. So let's talk a little bit about future. So you want to do the retreats. What's your goal? Like, okay, because you know that you have to be sitting down writing some sort of goal. You said you were goal oriented. So what's your goal in 2 years and then again in 5?
So in 2 years, I want to consistently be doing at least 3 nail pro retreats a year. In 5 years, if not sooner, because I always tend to do it sooner than later. I would like to have other coaches. I want to be able to train other nail pro coaches like myself, specifically in the nail industry, to go out and do what I'm doing and just making a huge difference in our industry in a positive way. Because, there's that overlying, drama, that people say that the salon is, that, we're a bunch of creative drama masters or, I want to change that. Like, we're not. We are hard-working, creative people that are super passionate about what we do. And sometimes that passion comes out as drama. And so if we can kind of like pull it back and like really own that passion and be aware of it, not taking things personally, like it can really change our industry in a very positive way.
Yes, Absolutely. And I am one of those that have been able to prove that over all these years I've owned a salon, many techs coming in and out and stuff like that, you can work together as a team. But you
Yes.
know what? It takes a leader. And so when you have a leader and everybody understands their role and they're working within their strength, you know, kind of like what I've talked many times about true colors. And when you know what your strength is and you're in that role and everybody respects you in that role, you work so well as a team. You're a powerhouse team.
You are. And there's salons out there doing it. There are. I mean, they're few and far between, but they're out there and they're doing it and they're like rocking it. And so I just want to, you know, share it and make sure that, you know, it's possible for everybody. Even you working solo in your own salon, you can have the same results. Like you can rock it.
And so instead of my team being my salon girls, my team is social media. I mean, what we have with our admin team, what we have in our group, just because you're not on admin doesn't mean that you're not part of the team, you know, and building each other up. And our group is proof of that, of building each other up constantly. And the congratulations when something's good, the, you know, pick me up when something's bad, and the prayers that come through here and the blessings. And it's you've created your, as we call it, your tribe, your team. Yeah.
And I've been part of nail social media before in the past, and my experience is it was not good. Like I end up dropping out of it within the first couple of weeks because you give feedback and people are like, rah, 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 and I was just like, I ain't having no part of this. This is the first time that I'm actually been in a nail group that I see such positive, such growth, so many people looking for help and people willing to support in a positive way, not just in a, you know, bitchy way, you know. Yeah. So I love this group. This group is the best I've ever experienced. So
me too. And I'm not saying that because I'm on the admin or whatever, but it really does come back from the leadership, and it comes back from how it's guidelined. And so the posts that are in there are, you know, because people are asking genuine questions. It's not about like, oh my gosh. One of the things that I saw a lot in some of the other groups that you kind of catch on to is that there's like hidden things in there. They're like, who likes this product? Or what do you not like about this product? And it opens up the line of communication for so much negativity and stuff. And it's like, no, that's not education. And so we kept it education based. And it's amazing how being strict with that and saying this is our focus of what we want to do and building each other up, it naturally just happened. And so the people that are in this group are because they naturally fit into this. And we get so many messages and emails and comments that are like, I needed this so much. Thank you for taking the time to do this. And it keeps fueling that love. But we're like, I want to keep doing this. And it's amazing. Man, there's hearts flying all over the screen right now. All over. You guys are understanding where we're coming from, right? Yeah. So I have to inject this. So Angela's on here and she says, I love your bangs, Barb. Welcome to the Bang Club. I love your heart and they look amazing. They're awesome.
Thank you.
And we have Sharon from, let's see, Australia. Anita says the Amy push. So I know, Barbara, you do the same thing. It's like we got to push ourselves out of that comfort zone a little bit, but it's for the growth. It's for the learning process of it. And isn't that so, so true?
Yeah, you get addicted to the growth. When you start looking for the growth, you get addicted to it because it's like, okay, how can I grow today? Not just in the hips. It's much bigger than that.
Yeah, so true. So, so true. Oh my gosh. Yep. So many great things. I do have to give a little shout out. So one of our admin members, Kim, has gone through a very big struggle and she's actually joined us on today. And so Kim, love you, girl. Yes. There's lots of love on there too. Let's see. So Nadia says, can't you both help me to do all the talking today, but I would like to do it in Spanish. So I'm not quite sure what Nadia's tried to say, and I wonder if she's hoping that we can talk in Spanish. I do not know any other language, and I barely know English, so I'm not going to be able to help you with that. However,
That's it.
I'm like, if you know any Spanish, you talk to her really fast. Becky says we have the best members, and absolutely. And one of the other things that has happened with Tech Talk is exactly like what you're doing today. We've done so many interviews with very significant people in the industry, and sometimes they're brand new nail techs just starting out, and they're willing to open up and share, like, hey, these are the struggles that I'm having. I am almost show a vulnerability to where they're like, I need the help. I don't know what I'm doing. I know how to do nails, but I didn't know that I had needed a business degree to understand how to do the business side. I didn't know that I needed a coach to help me build myself up to know that every day when a new client comes in, I can do this. And so it's been fun being able to have these interviews and to talk with you a little bit more and get to know you more. Every time I do an interview, somebody, oh my gosh, gets that aha moment, and they're like, what you said today was what I needed so badly. Yeah. And I know, like, with you and your positivity and stuff like that, I'm quite sure that you're going to connect with so many nail techs today.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason. I totally believe that. Sometimes it's hard to see. However, it's there. The reason is there. So even in the moments.
I got some clarification. She wants to do a channel like this in Spanish for nail techs.
Oh.
Well, I don't know Spanish at all. I went to Mexico last year for my first time, and it's a good thing most of them spoke English, because I was disrespectful and didn't learn enough Spanish before.
Yeah. I know how to get another drink. That's it.
Yeah. So I want to go back to talking about some of, like, your passions and your words of inspiration and stuff like that. And so, mentally we can hold on to the thoughts of what people have told us and stuff like that. I used to be a crafter, and I made signs. And so with signs, I actually have one that sits for me to see. My clients don't see it. And what it says is, what people need is a good listening to. Mm-hmm. And I found that along the way. I didn't actually make that one. So what's a saying that's kind of one of your go-to mottos or quotes that you put out there?
Oh my gosh. I have a lot. My mind is always working. It never shuts down. Well, when I finally go to sleep, it shuts down. And then something dream about stuff. Yeah. I think the biggest one that I really connect to was the one that I grew the most from was a quote that to accept people for who they are and where they are in their journey instead of wanting them to be more like you.
Oh, yeah.
So that's something that I really hold on and I practice every single day, because from where I come from, I always see the goodness in people and I always see the greatness in people, and I want them to be there. Like, I want them to be exactly where I see them to be. However, they're not ready yet. And they're in their own journey. And so I've learned just to, take a step back and say, okay, I accept you and love you for where you're at and where you're at in your journey. And I'm not expecting or wanting you to be like me at all. And so when I finally accepted that and really worked on that, that's when I think a lot of things shifted for me. So it's a powerful quote that I say all the time to myself.
Yeah, so true.
Another one that I say all the time is that it's not good, bad, right, or wrong. It just is.
Gosh, that's so true too, isn't it? I did a tech talk with Jessica Nugger one time, and forgive, she's on our admin team and I just blew out her last name, but she said something to me, and I actually wrote it down during that tech talk, and it says, remember that the Titanic was built by professionals and the Ark was built by amateurs. Right. Meaning that you never know what you can create. And just because you think that you're not a professional or something doesn't mean that you can't create something phenomenal and great and grand and lasting and touching to other people and all that. One of the quotes that I've always, and I learned it when I was little, and I remember being in school and it was like that big aha moment, and I was learning cursive. And I remember writing it in cursive, and I had it for years and years, and it said, be the change that you want to see in the world. Instead of don't talk about it, just be it. Do it. and be that change. And so like what you said, it's not right, it's not wrong, you know, or whatnot. And change is the same way. Some people don't like change. Some people love it. You need it to grow.
It happens. Like you cannot stop change. Guess what? A minute will constantly go every single day. That's change. Like we started at 4 and now it's 4:41. That's change. Like it's consistent and it's guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness. There's so many messages. I apologize. I'll definitely have to watch this one on replay to come back and read all of the comments. But Julia says, I had a wonderful conversation with Barbara. And so it's Julia Snell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
I get to meet Julia, so I'm pretty excited. She is one that I have pushed, like both hands pushed many times. And she's always just been open and saying, you know what, I needed you and I needed this. And so I never felt like I was being too pushy. And so anyways, it's those connections that you make with people. And trust me, I have clients, like I had one in today, I was doing her nails and she was like, well, you know, like you keep doing all this stuff online and you keep doing all that. When are you going to do something local? And I was like, local? I realized I have not done a local workshop in a year. Everything I've been doing is online. And it made me feel really bad because I thought, oh my gosh, I left my local people that got me started on doing workshops. I feel like I kind of left them behind. So I was like, I need to set up some local workshops. So I'm going to have to set up a calendar and put a post out there and say, who wants me? What do you guys want to learn? So,
I have local workshops too. I'm attempting to get them up and going. And they're really low in cost. Like I have one right now. I think it's scheduled, I don't remember, the 19th, something like that. I think it's the 19th, where it's this
September.
Yeah, it's called Nail Art and Networking, and we're just going to get together and just play and just talk to each other and just teach each other. There's not going to be a facilitator. There's not going to be a teacher. You're just going to come and we're just going to network with each other, learn each other, support each other, and just play with art. And yeah, I originally had it scheduled last month and didn't have any takers. So I rescheduled it again. Like, I'm not going to give up just because I didn't have anybody sign up. I'm going to keep going. Eventually, I'm going to have it.
Yes. And so, you know, you're more than welcome to post anything that's education related in our group. And so I know that our group is international, but you never know. Like Shayna was on here and Shayna was like, wait, I'm here. Where are you? And so maybe that can start something there. So if you need to use our group to promote that, that's exactly what we're here for. So please do. Yeah. And I love how you've changed your advertising. Your smile is so infectious. And so how you've changed your advertising, you know, most of them are your face and, you know, different expressions. And then the quote along the side. I love that form of advertising. And so I'm excited for you because I can see that you're getting a lot more feedback onto that. And wonderful.
It is really working. And I don't like pictures of myself at all. Like everybody tells me, oh, you're so photogenic. And I'm like, ew, no, I'm not. And so I have a customer that's a photographer and I have a couple other friends and like, oh, I want to take pictures of you. And I'm like, okay. And then I get them like, oh, I don't really like those. And then my daughter, she goes, Mom, those are amazing. And I'm like, they are?
Yes. Why is it our mindset? Why are we so quick to, you know, do that? I know I get the same way. Yeah. So, okay. So let's talk more about the little workshop that you're going to do. So it's going to be September 19th. Are you going to do it in a salon or do you have an event?
It's actually in my house. So I closed my salon after 10 years. And I built a house and I moved my nail business to my home. And I have this huge basement that has a wet bar and everything in it. And I
said, sign me up.
Yeah. So I've been hosting educators. So September 23rd, I'm doing a Swarovski class with Karen Clark. I'm not sure where I can't remember where she's from, but she's a Swarovski educator. So she's coming out here. She's staying in my room. I have a guest room down there, so I'm hosting her to stay here with her and her husband. And we're doing the class here, and she's going to stay here for 2 days and then do the class and then leave. So, and I've had Gwen here. She did a 3D class, and that was amazing. I learned so much. Had so much fun doing that. And she came from Grand Junction, stayed in my little guest room, and then she did the class and stayed one more night and then went home the next day. So yeah, I mean, I want to do more classes like that. That's why I built the house. So because I love education, and so I want to still have classes. I still want to be part of that. And just because I'm in my own nail studio now, it doesn't mean I want to stop that. I still want to keep growing and learning from amazing people out there, such as Karen and Gwen and whoever wants to teach a class, like, let's go.
Yeah. I love the small settings like that. Like I would rather teach in a salon than ever teach, where you're on a stage and you have the projector and then people aren't surrounding it. Like I really like the small setting. I learn more that way. I connect more that way. And that's exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting. I love it. Okay. So do they have to pay to come in?
To the nail art and networking, it's $10.
Right.
Come in. I'm going to have a bunch of like art supplies. I'm encouraging people to bring their own stuff, but I have so much stuff because I used to have a salon and a school. So I have a ton of stuff. So just come and we'll just play and learn from each other and grow. And
have you created an ad for it that we can post in the comments?
I haven't created an ad, but I've created a Facebook page. Or not a page, event.
Okay. Yeah. So you have a shareable event that people in Colorado can say, hey, I'm going to come to this, come join me.
Yeah, so I can share that. Yeah.
Very good. Oh, that's so exciting. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. So what else do you want to talk about? What else? Like, I love tapping into your mind. So let's talk nails for a second. What's your specialty?
I specialize in sculpted liquid and powder.
Yes.
But I do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, scratch that. That's not true. I don't do the dip system. So I don't do silks. I don't do the dip system. But liquid and powder, I do hard gel. I do shellac, polish. I even do what they call precise nails, or they used to call them RX nails. I don't know if you guys, it's like a high quality, I call them party nails. It's a full cover. It's like a high quality lead press on nail. That's all the only way I can say it. It has like 238 different sizes and you custom fit. I have a couple of those because sometimes I get people in that just don't want the maintenance, but they need it for a special event. So I offer that as well as an option.
Yeah. I actually just did a tech talk last week with Jody and Kate, and that's her new specialty. She'd been in a salon for a while, and she realized that she really liked just doing the full cover tips and started an eBay business and is kicking off, and she shared on tips on that. And so there's so many different avenues that we can do in the salon that's not just nail extensions. Sometimes she can specialize in just pedicure. She can specialize in just natural nail. I love that we have the diversity to be able to change that up.
Mm-hmm. And just do what really gets you excited. I don't do a ton of pedicures. I don't take any new pedicure clients. I just have my set clientele. I really don't have a whole lot of free time for that because I do mostly nails. So, and liquid and powder is the majority of that. So and that's because what I wear. I mean, that leads back to, you attract what you are. So if you wear a lot of liquid and powder, you're going to attract people that want liquid and powder. It's like changing your hair color. Like you change your hair color, people are like, oh my gosh, I'm going to try that hair color. Like subconsciously people want to wear and be what you are. And so if you put out goodness, you're going to attract goodness. If you put out, you know, happiness, you're going to attract that. If you put out a lot of liquid powder with a lot of art, you're going to attract that.
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, my nails always go pretty basic, or I have, you know, glittered tips on or something like that. And so it's kind of funny that you say that, because I was like, wait a minute, this doesn't always be the same thing, because I don't ever wear art and every single one of my clients wear art, but I want to. And so I think what I project is like, do you want something on this? Do you want me to spoil you a little bit with something? And so even though I think what happens is I do my own nails, so I might be able to get one hand done, but I'm not going to get the other hand done. Yeah. So Becky on our admin, she did a live one day, and she was like, she purposely wanted to attract more clients that would wear their nails longer and maybe a little bit more of a stiletto look, because she didn't have any like that. And I'm like, yeah, me neither. You know, all my clients wear a shorter, more tapered or coffin kind of shape. And so she did it, and here she wore these longer nails, stiletto, all decorated up, and nobody did it. And she was like, not one person is doing this, and here I'm wearing this, I'm doing this, I'm trying to attract it, and it just takes time sometimes to be able to do that. But I do agree with you. We attract are like-minded, and what I wear, like if I have a certain glitter on, they like that. Like I did a nail team had sent me some glitter. I'm on my computer. Anyways, you can't really say it. There's some chunks in it, and I encapsulated a base coat, and I did a live with it. And I'm like, man, I really like that. So I did it on all 10, and then it was too much. I immediately wiped it off and just left it on the ring finger, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much more than I normally do. Do you know how many clients have done it on all 10? And now I'm like, I should have done it on all 10. And I'll tell them I did, and then I got nervous, and then I just kept it on the one. Yeah.
You will. I mean, I think it just has to come from that place. Like it's a honest, like this is what I really, really want. And you will attract it. Like I went to when I was an educator for CND, we went to a boot camp one time, and but it wasn't a boot camp. It was, I don't remember, but everybody was there from like all over the place. So I actually sat next to this beautiful woman. For the life of me, I cannot remember her name. This always happens. But she was from Hungary. She didn't speak a lick of English, and I didn't speak any Hungarian, but we understood each other perfectly. And she was showing me how to do a stiletto, because I always wore more of the longer square nails at that time. And so she was showing me how to do that, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of like that on my finger. Like it made my finger look longer and skinnier. I'm like, ooh, I'm really liking this. So I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I went home. I did it on all my nails. The next day I went back to the salon, and sure enough, I get a phone call from a new client that she's from Minnesota. She was traveling in that area, and she wanted a full set of extreme almond nails. And I literally just learned how to do that. And I was just like,
yeah, I love it. And you're like, I can't wait. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, I told her, I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Come on in. And then I'm like, holy crap, I hope I can do this.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Barbara, you have been so much fun to talk to. I looked at the clock a little while ago. I'm like, yeah, it's been an hour, but I don't want to give you up. So let's recap a little bit. So for the rest of this year, so maybe on September 19th, you guys can pay $10 and come to Barbara's house and have a play date, bring your products and get to play with each other's. Okay. What's after that?
September 23rd, I have a Swarovski class with Karen Clark here at the house. And I believe Karen has shared that several times on the page, but I can share that again just in case. And then I go to Mexico for 8 days, the 27th. It's our 26th wedding anniversary.
Working vacation or just a vacation?
Vacation, a true
renewal.
Yeah, so we're going to Puerto Vallarta, the newer section, and we're going to stay there. The #2 all-inclusive resort in the world. I'm super, super excited. We're going to celebrate our 26 years of being married, and then we come back, and then it's like holiday time. So I don't have nothing really scheduled during the holidays. I usually don't because I'm like booked crazy. So
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Well, Barbara, I would love to team up with you anytime, anywhere to be able to have a play date or
yeah,
come to your home and be able to, do whatever. I would love to be able to work with you in the
you're not
future.
that far. You're in Wyoming.
Yeah, I know. I will be, well, this weekend my sister's getting married and I'm in her wedding. But next week at this time, I'm going to be at Utah, at the Utah Nail Show. And
Yeah.
so I'm not teaching. I'm not in anything. I'm hanging out. And so we're doing a meet and greet for those of you. It's pinned in the announcements. Becky did a meet and greet invite, so you guys can come join us for meet and greet. And then we were trying to schedule like what you were doing, like a play date where we all just brought product and played and did that. But with the show and with everything, we're going to have to look at, like, that's going to take a whole day that we have to do that. So I think we're going to have to do a play date another time, but I'm excited for that. I was invited to go to Baton Rouge, Louisiana and teach at a tech school that just opened up there. And it sounds like it's really going to happen. So I'm excited that I get to branch out a little bit more than just my surrounding states. But I can see, Barbara, that you as well, your name get out there like this and you keep just being you. You are going to get these phone calls as well. I can see you branching out and turning international. Maybe we can do a team grouping something with that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, that would be definitely a dream come true.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for your vision to come to fruition. And obviously it's been, 10 years or so in the making, but it takes time to be able to build what you want, and you're doing it with passion. You're not just getting alone and saying, this is where we're going to be and this is what we're going to do. Like, you're listening to other people and you're trying to figure out what can you do to be that niche, and what you're doing is great. And listening to them talk about, you being in Vegas and doing that, that's huge, because that is upsetting. I actually just read a post this week that was talking about, when you have an event where you have airfare and you have motel or cruise or, whatever paid for, and then they cancel it and you're stuck with that. And so it's so cool that you're able to come in and pick up those pieces and say, well, you know what, let's turn this into something else. And it's going to even be better than probably what they originally signed up for. So it's pretty cool.
Yay!
Proud of you. So proud of you. And I'm super proud that you just got published and all of that. I'm elated for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So thanks for spending. What's that?
I said you'll definitely be hearing more from me.
Good. I look forward to it. And so those of you, once again, this is Barbara. She is one that you want to follow on Facebook and you want to stalk all of her pages. Check out her website. Even if you just read through her content, you're already going to know what she's about, because it's just positivity. It's uplifting. And it's what we need to surround ourselves with every single day. And so, Barbara, I'm thankful that you're in my circle of people that I'm surrounded with. And I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. And I'm looking forward to what you have coming up.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me on here. It's such an honor. Thank you, everybody.
So those of you that follow me, you guys know that I'm going to be crazy this next week. I look forward to all the ones that I get to meet in Utah. Layla, who's one of our admins, flying over from the UK, and she's going to be teaching a Disney class there. The last time I talked to her, she has one spot left. So if you want to join in, message Layla for that. And then let's see. So our next Tech Talk next week is actually going to be, I have Lori Anastos on Monday. It's already posted in the events and stuff like that. And then I'm going to do Tech Talk from the Utah Nail Show. So that, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be fun, I know. And so thank you guys for always supporting Tech Talk Live. Thank you for our special guests for always giving your hour of time for us and sharing your heart and your passion and inspiring us always. And thank you to all the members for supporting all of this every single time. So love you all so much. Thank you, Barbara.
Thank you.
All right.